So, for today's class, we'll be talking about accessibility, designing for accessibility. Then we'll continue from where we stopped in our last class, in the how to come up with prototype and interaction. So we just do a little discussion on designing for accessibility. So, designing for accessibility basically means being inclusive in your design. So there are so many people with diverse disability. Some people have hearing issues. Some people, it might be sight. It might be maybe they can't use their hand. So whenever you are designing as a product designer, you don't just only design for people that are not disabled. You also you need to design for people that have all this kind of issue. Maybe it might be color blindness issue, it can be hearing issue. So you need to be like inclusive when designing. So there are different kind of technology that has been created for those kind of scenarios. So for example, we have speech to text. So there are some application that when you are using it, when whatever the person is saying, it converts it to text. So why that is being done is because there are some people they might not hear clearly, but their eyes are functioning, so they can be able to like read and understand what is happening. So another scenario is some of us are familiar with the next scenario I'm about to make mention of is when you're using YouTube, you notice that there are some videos you'll be playing. There's something like caption, where whatever the video is saying, you'll be seeing the caption on the video is being converted to text. So that is like an example of like designing for an inclusive design, wherever there are some people that they might be in a place where they are not supposed to make noise. It can be maybe they have some hearing issues, there are some kind of temporary situation that might make some people to be temporarily deaf, so they can still make use of the digital products despite the fact they are facing whatever disabilities they are having. So you basically make your digital product accessible to different varieties of people. So as a product designer, remember that you're not designing for yourself, you're designing for users. And most of all these users, they face different challenges. It can be psychological challenges, it can be environmental challenges, it can be cultural wise. So there are different issues um, that users that you're designing for them might face. So the best way to like understand what your users are going through, whether they are going through maybe they have some kind of disabilities, they're going through different challenges, maybe they can't see well, they can't hear very well, maybe their hands or some maybe whatever disability they have at all. So for you to actually understand what those people are going through, for you to actually design for them, is for you to actually like observe them. It most times you need to like be in the same environment where they are and observe, because whenever you're designing for such kind of people with those kind of disabilities, you don't need to start assuming. You need to avoid every form of bias, because there are some scenarios where most times we designers who can be biased and start influencing some kind of design decision because of our choices and the rest. It seems that majority of the time as a product designer, you need to like come out of yourself. In this kind of scenario, when designing for this kind of people, you don't just only need to imagine yourself only being in their shoes. You need to like stay with them in their environment, observe them, if possible, maybe ask people around questions, and if possible, observe, pay attention to little details, because it's when you observe those kind of people, you will know how to like design any technology at all to suit their need. So that's just basically it. So there are different projects you'll be handling as a product designer, and you need to like have this kind of accessibility mindset, being inclusive, not just designing for people that are and that their body parts are complete, or people that are not having any like bad issues, all those kinds. So you need to like be inclusive. Even there are some projects that you might be designing for, you need to understand the cultural background, where those people are coming from, understand what works for them and what does not work. So most of all these things are also part of the research. So sometimes you need to do a quantitative and qualitative research. Sometimes secondary research can work, but you need to make use of all those research methods we talked about. So that you can understand them very well. So that's just basically it. So remember that um you need to like make sure that you design digital products in a way that different people different people can make use of digital product. There's also some scenario where when designing, you need to bear in mind there are some people that have never used the internet before. Some of them might be maybe in our grandfather's age, all those kind of things. There are some people that are yet to use any digital product. They don't know what an app is. They don't know what a website is. So whenever you're designing, there are some projects that most of all these things are the key things that they are targeting. Whenever you're designing those kind of projects, you need to make sure that the project is very, very simplified. The kind of colors you use. If there's a there was the time I designed a particular project that was meant for older people. I think that project was owned by Corin, this engineering body. So that particular project, the main goals they were creating it was to help some elderly people that are in all these government offices for them to keep their files. It was years back. So when designing those kind of application like that, you need to pay attention to the kind of color you use, the font size, because most of all these older elderly people, they make use of glasses. So most times you need to like understand. Sometimes when designing, you need to like go as far as even understanding the different kind of maybe eye problem that people might have, or color blindness, or the kind of colors that you should. Please, is everyone following? If you are following so far, say something in the chat section. We have just maybe 11 people on this call. Okay. So in a scenario where you're designing an application for elderly people, there are so many things you need to pay attention to, because sometimes why I'm explaining this is that sometimes you need to not just only understand their problem, we have a problem statement, you have a user story. Sometimes you need to go as far as understanding the different issue they might have. The issue might be health wise, or the environment that those people are going to be. So you need to like go as far as that, as understanding those kind of things, because where somebody stays, the environment somebody stays can actually influence the way they use the digital products you are coming up with. So sometimes the kind of health issue they have might influence, it can be eye issue, it can be different things. So most time when you understand the kind of way the users you are designing for, the kind of things they are going through, you research about those kind of, sometimes you might need to like read up about these health challenges a little bit just for you to know the kind of way you can amplify the digital product to make them to like, if it's something they have to read and use it for their work, they can be able to use it very well and understand what's happening. So that's just basically it. So product design is not just drawing rectangle in Figma. So there are so many things you need to like put in place. Most time, majority of all this accessibility depends on the budget of the project you are working on. So there are some application that this stuff we're discussing about is really needed. So you need to apply it because of the users that will be making use of the application. So um, let's go back to our prototyping. So I was very, very impressed with the last assignment I gave. I was so happy with what I was seeing. There are some people that did very, very well. So one issue that I have with some of us is that some of us, we purposely submit our assignments very late, and they expect that when it's submitted very late, I should magically do the assignment and mark the assignment immediately and give them feedback, which is not supposed to be so. So that assignment was supposed to be submitted Sunday. Like they submitted 1 week later, and it's not good at all. submitting assignment very late. It looks as if you guys are doing it purposely. The first set of people that submitted, there were only eight. Only 8 people that submitted that Sunday. So just give me some time. Let me look for the prototype we are working on. So a new task has been dropped. So make sure you go through it and start doing your assignment. So whenever you have any issue, you can reach out to me. And the assignment I was talking about is the one of a mobile app, where I said we should design mobile app. So many of us, we did very well. But the only thing that made me very angry is the approach in which we submit assignments very late. Very, very late. So let's practicalize some things about our prototype. So let's go, let me just start with a square. So I'll just use simple shapes first. So I'm drawing a square, in Ctrl D. So I'll draw another square. So I'll give this a color. Let me put this in a frame. Now duplicate this. Then move this to this side. Now move this here. So I want to just do a simple prototype. I want us to start from the basic. So let me click here, draw this to this. So let me start with smart. Let me use on drag, then use smart animate. So let me preview. I'm just doing, just to start from the simplest version first. So on drag, it goes this way. So you can see the on drag in action. So I dragged it and it goes this way. So let me do this another on drag for it to go back. So here we have on drag here. I'm using smart animate, ease in, or let me use ease out. So let's preview to see that in action. So the thing is that another advantage of doing your assignments on time is that it's kind of preparing you for the reward. So whenever a client gives you a project timeline, you cannot come and start telling the person African man time, telling the person stories. It will sound as if you are not professional. So that's why whatever training they are being taught in KodeCamp, you need to take it seriously because it will actually influence the way you carry yourself whenever you are doing projects for clients. Because how this works in real life is that if a client gives you a project, especially when it's a fast-paced tech startup, what I mean by that is that they want their development, their design to be done fast so that they can push it to the market. So there are some tech startups like that. There's also some tech startups that also take time to do their project. But if, for example, you are working in a fast-paced tech startup, when they give you 2 weeks to come up with a design, you need to use that 2 weeks. There is nothing like my light did this, my internet did this, my this did that. There is no time for all those kind of excuses. Because there was something that I told us in our first class that whenever you are And when you're done with this our training and you start getting jobs, see yourself as a brand. So there are some kind of things you do, and it will not really tell well about your brand when a client need their work in 2 weeks so that the developers can work on the development in 3 weeks, and you're delaying their work and you're even making them to lose money. It will not really tell well on your brand. So that's one reason why whenever assignment is being given, try as much as you can to try your best to complete your assignments on time and submit on time so that you can receive feedback, because that's the same way it happens. So whenever you design, majority of the time, the clients, whenever you design a project for a client, the client will want to come to the Figma file to see what you have done. Sometimes they will leave comment for improvements, all those stuff. So you need to make sure you finish on time. If not, it will affect you. Start seeing the reality of all these things I'm saying by the time you start receiving design jobs. So you can see here, we have done that of drag. So let me duplicate this. So I'll duplicate this and try another one, which is Gen2. So let's try this Gen2. And set under Smart Animate, we have Gentle, Quick, Bounce, Slow, Custom Spring. We have Ease In, Ease Out, Ease In and Out, Ease In Back, Ease Out Back, Ease In this and this with linear. So we want to try out this last one here. So let's try it out together. So I've clicked here, Gentle. So I'll come here, click here, Gentle. So let me see how that Gentle work. So we want to see that in action. So let me drag. So you can see the way it is. It is gentle. So you can see how gentle it is. So let's see the first one we did. So this one is, see the way this one moves, it's not like gentle. I don't know if you can see the difference. So, sorry, let me give this a flow so that we can know the difference. So I'll call this gentle. And I'll call this, I think this is just normal smart. Okay, ease out. So I'll call this ease out. So let me preview so that we can see difference. So we have ease out and we have gentle. So let's try ease out. So this is how ease out is. So remember, this is on drag. We'll drag this and it moves. So we'll come this place. Then this is gentle. See how gentle is. You can see the difference between gentle and ease out. So let's try quick. Let's see how quick it's going to be. I'll come here, change this to quick. Here, and change this to quick. And I'll come here, give it a flow so that I will name it quick so that we know the difference between the other ones that we have done. So we drag, so you can see the way quick is. Let's see gentle. You can see how gentle is. So you can see how quick is now. You can see the difference now. So one major thing you also need to note about Smart Animate is that whenever, I think I mentioned this in our last class, whenever you want to make use of Smart Animate, make sure the naming of each element is the same. So let me show you what I mean. So for example, you can see this square here. You can see this square here. The name here is rectangle 143. Here, the name of this is rectangle 143. Then here, this main longer rectangle is rectangle 142, and this one here is rectangle 142. So even the name of the frame too is frame 375, and this one too is frame 375. So if we try and rename all these differently, there will be an issue in our smart animate. So for your smart animate to work very well, your naming needs to be the same. So the same thing with here, you can see here 3750. Okay, let me change this here. One is rectangle 143, rectangle 143. Then here, rectangle. Okay, so let me change this one here to 3750. So you need to make sure the naming is the same. So let me change this. Especially the naming of the inner elements so that the smart animate is going to go well. So here, rectangle. So the naming here is the same. Naming here is the same. So that's one key thing, because there are some times that you do something with smart animate, you know quite well that it's not coming out well. Why it's not coming out is because of the naming. So this one we did here is for quick. So we'll duplicate this one. So we're going to duplicate that one. So let's try the next one. Go to prototype. Bring this here. Bounce. Change this to bounce. So let me preview. So let me drag it. So you can see it's bouncing. You can see it's bouncing very well. So that's bounce. I think I did not. Okay, let me give this a flow so that we know the one that is bounce. So I'll call this. Let me preview it again. So this is bounce. You can see it's bouncing. So let's move over to the next one. So there's something that just came to my mind now. So in your product design journey, there are some things called soft skill. Despite the fact you know how to design. So I think people usually say soft skill will keep you on the job, because if you are somebody that you don't know how to communicate, you don't know how to collaborate, despite the fact you are good in design, it might still affect your work. Because majority of the thing in tech is that you need to collaborate, and for you to collaborate very well with other people, you need to know how to communicate. You might want to say something right, but you say it the wrong way and to cause problem. So there's something called communication skill where you need to learn how to communicate. And one major thing that will help you to communicate very well is when you like reason from the point of empathy. So like trying to be in the shoes. We talked about empathy in the beginning of this our class. Empathy for your user. As a product designer, you don't need to have empathy for only the users that you're designing for, even the people you'll be working with. Because as a product designer, you'll be working with different people. So there are sometimes you might find yourself in a very large team where we have graphic designer, project managers, and software engineers, mobile app developers, web developers, from huge team. So you as the product designer, who is like an architect of the whole digital product. You need to know how to like communicate. So there are different things that might come up. It might be maybe timeline issues, communicating your designs to developer. There might be different scenarios that might come up. So you need to like learn how to communicate effectively. One major thing would be like when you finish designing, when doing developers hands-off. So you need to, there are different tools you can use to do developers hands-off that can help you, the developers, to when they are coding your work for their coding to for the work to come out well. So Figma has something called dev mode. So this is Figma dev mode here. So, but right now Figma has made this their dev mode to be paid. So this dev mode basically allows when a developer is on dev mode, they can access the code of your design. So there is one other tool that is also um, that is also very good for developers hands-off. So the name of that tool is Zeppelin. So let me see if I can open it here. So Zeppelin. So this Zeppelin, this is the spelling Zeplin. So because Figma is paid, I think I already have an account. Because Figma dev mode is paid, so there are some scenarios that you might not have money to upgrade to Figma Premium to make use of dev mode. You can just make use of Zeppelin. You can see this project assigned a non-disclosure. If not, I would have opened it and showed us here. So this is like a project that I did, I think some months back, and I use Zeppelin to hands off the design to the people that will be developing it so that it will be easier for them to develop. So when they open, I think maybe in our next class, I'll show you how to make use of Zeppelin. So you basically export all your designs to Zeppelin. So Zeppelin has a Figma plugin that you can export either your mobile design, your web design to Zeppelin. Then when you click on, when the developer or you click on each of your design, you see the codes, whether they're using HTML, CSS, whatever, whether React. So Zeppelin will basically show them the code. So we'll explore that about Zeppelin in our next class. So that's one thing you need to learn how to communicate. So most times you need to try to be in the shoes of, because there are some scenarios where maybe the person managing the project might have a particular timeline given by the project owner. And most times the person might be under pressure and the person might want you to work very fast. So most times just try and understand where they are coming from, because there are some project owner that they want their project to be delivered on time. So most times the team has to work work back to back to make sure the project is being delivered. It might make people to be under pressure in some scenarios. So basically, just need to learn how to communicate and manage your emotions. So we'll talk more about all these things as we move on. So this one now, the next one we'll be doing now is slow. We'll make use of slow here. This will be slow. So I'll add a flow so that we know what we're doing. So I'll click here. Now preview. So I'll drag this so you can see it's moving slowly. It's moving slowly. So one other thing that is also going to help us to improve our design skill as a whole is that despite the fact we always come to class twice in a week, also try as much as you can for you to have a passion project. So it's like it can be your own personal side project that can help you to improve your design skill. So you must not wait for when you be giving assignments. Doing the assignment is very great, but the thing is that in your own personal time, even me like this, you might see me as a professional, but I have side project that I do. What I mean by side project is that project that I do by myself just to improve my own design skill. That's what I mean. So each of us, you can use ChatGPT to create different prompts. So I think Let me show you something. Because as a designer, for you to actually improve your design skill, you need to always keep your hands dirty on different designs. Make sure you have a project that you're working on, even if you don't have a client project yet. So let me show you what I mean. So let me show you something. So I had this idea. I wanted to just design something that I can use for my social platforms. So I came here, see the prompt I added. Please, everybody following. If you are following, say something in the chat section. If you are following so far. Okay, so let's continue. So ChatGPT is like is an AI that you can use for your research, whatever. So I will be discussing how to use it as designers. So this is one way, and there are different ways to use it as a designer. So I use this a lot. So you can see the prompts. ChatGPT basically work with prompts. So you need to learn how to like create prompts. But creating a prompt is not difficult. So let me show you something. So you can see here what I did. I said, I am a UI UX designer. I want to design a fitness track app, come up with a color palette that I can use for the app. So you can see ChatGPT came up with a color palette for me. So I don't need to like start making research on Google, getting color palettes. So it created different color palettes and where I can use it and what each of them is going to symbolize. So let's start with the result that ChatGPT gives to me. So creating a color palette for a fitness tracking app involves selecting colors that convey energy, motivations, health, while ensuring good reliability and user experience. So this is to let you know that whenever you are designing, the colors you choose should be in line with the project team. For example, if you're designing an agricultural app, what colors are you going to use that will suit agriculture? Even the font, when the kind of project you are working on is also influences the font, the kind of font you use, the corner radius you use. There are some projects you'll be designing. The corner radius of your button is not supposed to be very curvy because curvy corner radius for button kind of give you this kind of like fun use or something. If you're designing a kind of professional app, there's no need to start giving your buttons corner radius. So you can see how I use ChatGPT to come up with colors. So you can see here is a suggested color palette, primary color, electric blue. It also gave me the color code. This color conveys energy, trust, and truthfulness, making it a great choice for primary color. Also listed at the secondary color, the accent color, background color, text color. Then example for usage. It also went further to explain. So primary buttons, and navigation bar, which is the main primary color, the electric blue. Then success messages and confirmation message, vibrant green. So you can see how I used it here. So if you have any issue making use of ChatGPT, you can also reach out to me if you have any issue at all. So let me show you another way to use ChatGPT to improve your design skill. So here, an idea came to me. I wanted to come up with a 150 days UI design challenge task that I'm going to use for my own personal. Sorry, we'll soon finish today's class. My battery is down. So anyway, I will stop. We'll continue in our next class. So you can see here, so because you can, there's something called daily UI that you can use, but the thing is that daily UI just means you to just focus, think of design only in form of UI. Design is you are designing to solve a problem. So daily UI is good, but I don't really like want to use daily UI because I want all my design to be functional. So that's why I came to ChatGPT. So you can see the prompts I added here. I said, I am a UI UX designer. I want to do a 150 days of UI design challenge, not just UI design that are aesthetically pleasing, but UI design that are functional and also solve a problem. Come up with ideas for this. So you can see ChatGPT came up with ideas. Sure, here is a list of ideas for 150 days of UI challenge. This idea focus on creating both aesthetically pleasing and functional UI design that address specific problem. That problem is very important because when you just focus on just UI, you just think, oh, my design is beautiful. Is this solving a particular problem? Is it functional? So you can see in every week, ChatGPT gave me a particular task. So week 1 to 3, health and fitness app. So fitness tracking app, design a dashboard that tracks various fitness activities, calories, burns, and um, various progress overview. You can see different tasks that ChatGPT gave to me: social and communication, financial and budgeting, education and learning, traveling and leisure. So all these ideas now, I can put them together, not even put them together, I can start designing for them, and I can also put them in my design portfolio and also use it for my socials, or especially on LinkedIn, so that people can know. Because anytime you are designing, you also need to also post your work out there so that people can know you are good in design. So you can, when you design this, for example, if you use this prompt to design, you can use this for your social, whatever, to come up with designs. So that's just basically it. Do we have any question? Do you have any question? Somebody is raising up her hand. Okay, I think I can see somebody raising. Okay, unmute yourself and speak.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, I have a problem with my anytime I use a smart animate on my prototyping, it scattered the work. So I don't know if it is from what you explained earlier, if it is the naming of frames, rectangles, and what have you, because mostly what we were taught was we should rename components. Like we should rename shapes that we use, frames that we use. So I don't know if that is one of the reasons that anytime I use smart animate, it's scattered, like it cannot actually work as it's supposed to. So I
Yeah, I
don't know
feel
if that's
yes, that might be the issue because Smart Animate majorly animates matching layers. Your layers have to have the same name. It must not be different. So if the naming is different, there'll be the animation you do will not really come out well. So that's just one thing about Smart Anime. So go back, check the naming and try it again. If it still persists, send me the link on Discord. So I'll go through it, and you give me access to edit the file, then I can see what the issue is on the file. But I feel is the naming. Because for Smart Anime to work very well, you need to name your elements very well. So that's just it. So do anyone
right.
have any other
Thank
question?
you.
Okay. Okay, so in the absence of questions, so that will be all for today's class. So we'll continue from here in our next class. So take care, guys, and make sure you do your assignment. A new task has been uploaded on the LMS. So if you have any issue with the assignment, if you don't understand, always reach out to me on Discord. So yeah, so take good care, guys. Bye.